RSF drones target Sudan's Khartoum in fourth day of sustained attacks. Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces RSF have targeted the capital and its main airport with drones for a fourth consecutive day, marking the fourth consecutive day of attacks that began on Tuesday, a day before the airport was scheduled to become operational after at least 2 years of war. The war, which began in April 2023, has killed tens of thousands of people, displaced 12 million more, and left 30 million people in need of humanitarian assistance. The Sudanese army retook the capital in March, and residents have been tentatively returning to their homes, often to find them destroyed. The collapse of local currency makes reconstruction impossible, and goods are hard to come in. The collapse of the local currency makes reconstruction impossible, and goods are hard to come by in the war-torn country. The government has pledged to rebuild the capital, but its focus has been on state institutions, leaving residents to figure out how to rebuild on their own. 5 civilians killed in drone strikes by Sudan's RSF in Al-Fashir. At least 5 civilians were killed and more than 10 others injured Tuesday when a drone operated by Sudan's Rapid Support Forces RSF struck a civilian gathering in Al-Fashir, capital of North Darfur State, local media reported. The casualties took place Thursday but were announced Friday. A suicide drone belonging to the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces exploded in the city's central market, killing 5 people and wounding 10 others, local sources told the Sudan Tribune news outlet. Separately, eyewitnesses told the Sudan News on Friday that Sudanese Army air defenses intercepted drones launched by the Rapid Support Forces flying over Khartoum International Airport, marking the 4th consecutive day of such attacks. The RSF began launching attacks on the airport along with other vital targets in Khartoum State on Tuesday, just as the facility was set to reopen after a closure of more than 2 years. The airport received its first civilian passenger flight on Wednesday. There was no immediate comment from the rebel group on the reports. The army and RSF have been fighting a war since April 2023 that has killed more than 20,000 people and displaced 40 million, according to the UN and local authorities. 3 children die every day in Sudan's Al-Fashir amid increasing malnutrition. Medics Sudan's Doctors Network reports that at least 3 children are dying daily in Al-Fashir, the capital of Sudan's North Darfur State, due to malnutrition and diseases. The humanitarian situation in the city has deteriorated for over a month, with increasing child death due to acute food shortage and malnutrition cases. 4 UN agencies, including the International Organization for Migration (IOM), UNICEF, the World Food Programme (WFP), and the UN Refugee Agency, have stated that 260,000 civilians, including 130,000 children, are trapped in Al-Fashir, cut off from food, water, and healthcare. Research from U.S. universities estimates the death toll at around 130,000. Sudan, millions pushed to brink of survival in Sudan. Sudan is facing one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises, with over 30 million people in need of urgent assistance. The UN, along with the International Organization for Migration (IOM), UNICEF, World Food Programme, have issued a joint humanitarian call to action to address the immense suffering and growing dangers faced by millions across the country. As fighting is in the capital Khartoum, nearly 2.6 million people are returning to damaged homes, many without access to water, healthcare, or education. The spread of diseases such as cholera, dengue, and malaria, combined with soaring malnutrition rates, puts thousands at imminent risk of death without immediate assistance. Over 260,000 civilians, including 130,000 children, remain trapped under siege in Al-Fashir, North Darfur. The humanitarian response in Sudan has reached over 13.5 million this year, but funding shortfalls are making it increasingly difficult for the UN and its partners to deliver the appropriate aid. the 2025 humanitarian response plan for Sudan remains critically underfunded at only 25%. Trump pushes for Sudan truce in Washington and gets Sisi to lean on Burhan. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Sudan's President Abdel Fattah al-Burhan have held indirect talks in Washington to end the Sudanese civil war. The talks began in secret with the Sudanese Armed Forces (SAF) and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF) occupying separate rooms in the State Department. The main agenda is securing an interim humanitarian truce that will last for at least 2 months, followed by negotiations about a permanent ceasefire later this month. The talks include Egypt as a member of the Quad for the first time in place of the UK, reflecting the White House's recognition of Cairo's influence over Burhan. Egypt officials see it as a diplomatic rehabilitation for Egypt, as it has sought to reposition itself as a stabilizing power after years of regional marginalization. Both Trump and Sisi agreed during the Sharm el-Sheikh meeting that the solution to the Sudan conflict shouldn't rest solely in Burhan's hands. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Sudan's Abdel Fattah al-Burhan agreed that no Sudanese actor should be excluded from the talks to avoid creating fresh regional frictions, particularly with the UAE, United Arab Emirates, which continues to back them. Egypt has sought to quietly reinforce diplomatic channels backing Burhan's forces while avoiding direct military involvement. The Trump administration appears to be taking a much more assertive role after ramming through a ceasefire in Gaza.
President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, praised the great efforts of male and female teachers in maintaining the stability of the educational process despite the challenges the country is facing. He also commended the significant roles of the armed forces and other regular forces in securing the exams and facilitating the students' access to examination centers. This came during his meeting at his office with Minister of Education and National Values, Dr. Tuhami Al-Zain Hajar. President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, reaffirmed the government's determination to eliminate the rebellion and restore full security across Sudan. During his visit to Khartoum International Airport, al-Burhan described October as a month of victories for Sudanese people and a symbol of resilience and hope. Prime Minister Professor Kamel Idris received in his office in Port Sudan the Muslim World League Dr. Muhammad bin Abdul Karim Al-Isa in an official visit aimed at strengthening cooperation and highlighting the League's humanitarian and development initiatives in the country. The Prime Minister chaired a joint meeting attended by several ministers and relevant officials, during which the two sides discussed ways to enhance cooperation between Sudan and the Muslim League in humanitarian, developmental, social, health, and educational fields, in addition to experience sharing and international collaboration. Prime Minister Professor Kamel Idris received at his office the United Nations Resident Coordinator for Humanitarian Affairs in Sudan, Ms. Denise Brown. Upon her request, during the meeting, the Prime Minister Idris provided an extensive briefing on developments in the country, outlining the government's priorities and its vision for achieving peace and restoring stability across all parts of Sudan. For her part, Ms. Denise Brown presented the United Nations Action Plan in Sudan for the upcoming phase, affirming the United Nations' keenness to strengthen its efforts to support the Sudanese people and alleviate the suffering of those affected by the war. Minister of Cabinet Affairs Dr. Lamia Abdel Ghaffar visited Kassala State, accompanied by Minister of Animal Resources and Fisheries Professor Ahmed Atijani Abdul Rahim and the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Culture and Information and Tourism, Dr. Juraham Abdul Qadir. Minister of Cabinet Affairs and accompanied delegation were received at Kassala Airport. The acting governor of Kassala State, Major General Al-Sadiq Muhammad Al-Azraq, along with members of the State Security Committee and a number of state leaderships. The minister held a joint meeting with the State's Security Committee and a number of state leaderships. Manual and mechanical harvesting operation began in Gal'an Nahal area in Gaddarif State under the slogan towards abundant, pest-free production amid an atmosphere of optimism among farmers about achieving high productivity this season. The inauguration of the harvesting operations was witnessed by the governor of Gaddarif State, Lieutenant General Muhammad Ahmed Hassan. He expressed his optimism about achieving abundant production of sesame and other agricultural crops. The governor praised the great role played by technology transform centers in guiding farmers, which contributes to increasing production and productivity. Gaddarif State considered the first state in cultivating sesame crop, also as a cash crop.
Al-Kassinjar Islands are located in northern Sudan in the Marawi locality, and approximately 7,000 residents living in the middle of the River Nile in a natural picturesque area. They live off fishing and tourism and also cultivate various crops such as palm trees, onion, peanuts, potatoes and wheat. Al-Kassinjar Islands are characterized by their beauty and tranquility, originally agricultural and grazing areas. The island boasts all the elements that make them tourist destination. Al-Kassinjar Island waterfalls, rocks and sand in the middle of the River Nile. These islands are lush green landscape with numerous flowing waterfalls on the 75 islands. Linked by waterways, some are habitable, while others are home to only birds, natural wildlife, and traditional agriculture when the Nile recedes after the fall. A number of waterfalls and white sand appear, and their splendor increases in winter. The islands are called by names such as Sodari Island, Mashka Island, Atmir Island, Ashushi Island, Wadbashir Island, Terj Island, Agri Island. On one of the islands there is the shrine and tomb of Sheikh Haj al-Mahi, the well-known religious man and scholar in Sudan, and the religious shrines of the sons of al-Mahi and the sons of Jabir. The road toward Al-Kassinjar is full of picturesque nature, from the magic of palm trees, the Nile and the rocks. The islands were formed due to the division of the Nile. Al-Kassinjar Island starts from the beginning of the Marawi Dam, forming 7 tributaries, and end in the west at the beginning of the city of Nuri. The region is the Nile Division region and has formed more than 100 islands. The period of its formation is long, over many years. Al-Kassinjar has become recreational and tourist destination.
Khalil Ismail Musa was born in Al-Ubayd neighborhood in the city of Al-Ubayd on February 5, 1931. At a young age, the study in Sheikh Shantut Khalwa Traditional School, then continued to Al-Ubayd Elementary School, after which he joined the evening study section at Al-Ubaid Industrial School. He worked at the building decoration services, and after moving to Khartoum in 1958, he worked with the artist Kemal James Yusuf. He came from family known for kindness, Charles Francis, and loved his music and the streets. Where he lived was home to many creative personalities, politicians, religious figures, and community leaders. His passion is singing began early. They used to the performer since during his brother graduation ceremony, and Elizabeth, at a young age, presented songs of its own lyrical and melody title. He was nicknamed the artist of artists. Later, his nephew deciphered for the people's voices master and the special musical jubilance. His sons, the Almani and the Sweet Hopes, are considered one of the most beautiful and brief pieces in Sudanese music. Many young singers later performed their own rendition of the songs, yet Khalil Ismail versions maintains the sequence and depends for the emotional depth and references melodical structure. That is the master Khalil succeeded in creating harmony and diligence religions that performances demands with the basic meaning of the lyrical, giving the songs powerful article demicals and timeless beauty. Khalil Ismail was the truly cultural ambassador of Sudanese music. He represented Sudan in South Korea and visited several African countries, celebrating the beauty of Sudanese songs beyond national borders. He practiced the favorite halves of the symphonies with his family and among friends in the neighborhood. Khalil Ismail never internationally supported Sudanese radio, but this interest is the first of the Wenden Winds commended of the friend to meet radio engineer. His friend manifested to the engineer that Khalil was singer with original composition. The airways left for Moticans and return holidays and old letters, asking Khalil to perform his sings. Khalil sang to Tibetics and word that engineer was recording then Guardian's devices uses to radio station. He practiced his favorite novel singing with the family and among friends. The neighborhood. Khalil Ismail never intersurfaced the product Sudanese radio. The engineer is recording of Khalil Ismail, head of the radio musicals in Sams, who trumpets Khalil's voice and sons and invited in the for them fancy. After the recording sessions, there are the three ladders called refers at comparison payment for his recent sentence currencies, one of Sudanese pound at a time. This took place in 1958 when the Sudanese radio and its artists through postal money order. In that same year, 1958, Khalil Ismail's voice was officially approved at Sudanese radio through his songs. Yom's Day of Conquest, written by Abdurrahman Ariyat and disciplines by Khalil Ahmed. From there, Khalil embarked his artist journey amongst the great forms of Sudanese. He remained committed to his Sudanese songs, creating a new graceful style characterized by deep emotional expressions, rich poetic image, and deepest romantics and composition. In 1968, Khalil Ismail practiced and classical his course Muhammad Amin, Mr. Bahauddin Abu Shliya, and on behind sounds of the boundaries and the possess kiss. process. Khalil Ismail passed away in Omdurman, Sudan in 2007 at the age of 65. To Kandi's parents, he was laid to rest in Sharfi Cemetery in Omdurman, leaving behind rich legacy of its melody and the patriotic devotion that continues to live on the heart of Sudanese music lover.
في هواك